Hello everyone, my name is Brandon Rowe and I am dedicated to personal growth and teaching you how to grow. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a spiritual topic related to science and religion and how the view that science gives us all of the answers, that this material world gives us all the answers. I'm going to describe something from my personal experience that explains why there's such a big problem and such a big fight between the scientific-minded people and the religious-minded people, and how we can merge this together. So, a long time ago, when I was young and growing up, I very much so identified with my intelligence. I heard people say that I was smart, and, I probably was a smart kid, but when you hear something good about yourself, especially at a young age, you like to internalize that and take that as something that exists for sure in your personality. So I always told myself I'm smart, and when I was going to church, because my mom raised me in a Mormon church, I rejected a lot of the ideas that they said because it didn't really make objective scientific sense in a way. The reasoning between a lot of the things that they talk about didn't quite make sense to me at the time. And so, throughout the years, I resisted the religion, I resisted its teachings, and I was fine with that, and I thought that I knew the answers to some extent. I feel like human beings, we always feel like we know the answers until, next week or next year or next 10 years, you find another answer. But the point is, I rejected this religion and its teachings. And then when I was 18 years old, I believe, so about 5 years ago now, I had my first spiritual experience. And it was in that church, that very same church. And then shortly after that, I still couldn't get it to make sense in my head how this religion could be true, so I stopped following its teachings and I stopped feeling that spiritual connection. Recently, for the past few years, I've slowly been doing research on enlightenment and spirituality in a context that is more secular and taking a step back from religion, because in a lot of ways, religions are still very ideological. They follow a certain structure and they have inherent problems for the most part. They also have beautiful truths that are true, but there are limitations there. So one way that I was able to figure this out, and this is a realization that I had recently, is that science and what it proves is completely true. These are true things in a physical sense. Religion, spirituality, all of that comes from a place that is beyond words. It's beyond the world of form, the world of physical things that exist in this reality. So if you're coming from a perspective of, I must measure something to prove it, you'll never be able to prove these spiritual things, or at least not right now. Maybe in 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, science will be advanced enough to prove that. One interesting thing, though, is the more that you pay attention to things that are being understood in science and the cutting edge of science, they're starting to align with spirituality in ways. But we're not quite there yet. So we've still got to come to a place where we can integrate these two kind of conflicting ideologies and paradigms. The main problem comes, though, is that science is in itself only based on what can be proven. It doesn't play around in what might be true or what is experienced to be true. It's what can be measured to be true. And something that I know now for certain is that there is much more than this physical reality. I've experienced it in multiple contexts. It's described in pretty much any of the ancient traditions, any of the religions. They're all pointing to the same thing. And just because science or a materialist paradigm can't explain where that experience is coming from does not disprove that experience. And that's something that's important to realize. It doesn't matter whether you can prove it or not if you feel it to be true. One reason that is because science is actually a step away from reality, from experience. Science still plays fully within the realm of thoughts and the material. And if you haven't noticed yet, take a second to realize what you are. You're a conscious being. Something is experiencing what you're experiencing right now. You behind that screen watching me, you are consciousness in some form or another, and that is the basis of reality that everything comes from, is that you are conscious to experience this. Anything you experience is, again, a step away from the consciousness, a step away. So when we go to this material, we're a step away from what is directly experienced from the states of consciousness that you experience. And the beautiful thing about all of this is that language breaks down when you begin talking about these spiritual truths that you will experience to be real. When you're ready for it, you will experience them. Maybe not now, but there are a lot of people raising in consciousness around the world. Check them out on YouTube. Ralph Smart on Infinite Waters, Leo on actualize.org, Aaron Doty. These are all people, and there are plenty more literally on YouTube right now. That's how cool the internet is that the truths that were being described in Buddhist teachings thousands of years ago are now being described on YouTube in a way that is understandable for newer generations, that resonates with newer generations. That's one reason why I'm making this video right now, is because I know that I didn't resonate with these teachings like in the Bible. That alone wasn't ever enough to convince me. It wasn't enough to convince me of the truth that was there for some reason. You know, I'm not saying that the Bible is imperfect or it doesn't have truth and connection to spirituality. What I'm saying is, for some reason, when I was in a church and that was what I had in front of me, that didn't bring me to that spiritual connection. Whereas these people making videos on YouTube do. And it's crazy that there are so many people making this transformation. So if anything in this video resonated with you, I deeply encourage you to keep looking into it. Look into enlightenment. Feel free to look into a specific religion if that's something that resonates with you more. But the truth of this whole situation is that we are growing, we are expanding. This isn't only us getting richer, this isn't only us getting smarter, this is also us growing in consciousness, which is arguably the most important thing. So if you enjoyed the video today, I would very much appreciate it if you could give me a like. It really helps me grow the channel and help get this information out there. So, and if you are interested in this type of a topic, or spiritual development or personal development in any way, I make videos about developing yourself every single week. So I will hopefully see you in another video, and I hope you all have a great day.